going?
Good.
My name is Aarif. All right. In this modern age, human beings who reside in America should be able to live within peace and harmony, regardless of race or religious beliefs. Unfortunately, most of the American population has been judgmental towards one another. Through personal experience, I've been mistreated by others just because of my religious views and the color of my skin. And post 9/11, people of Islamic faith have been victims of hate crime. Innocent lives were taken because bigoted individuals label Muslims as terrorists, and they believe them to be a threat to America. Yet not all Muslims are threats, and have done nothing to said individual, yet they still blame them for 9/11 and bombings, and the media just paints a bad picture on them. As a Muslim, I have been stereotyped and bullied just because of my religious views. And I want to share with you all on how Muslims get oppressed. We as human beings should treat one another equally, regardless of religious beliefs. In order for you all to be persuaded with this topic, I will first explain the definition of Islamophobia and how it originated. Next, I will talk about how Islamophobia influenced all unfortunate hate, and that happened in Chapel Hill, and that happened over 4.5 years ago. Finally, I'll offer a solution on how we can all try to prevent Islamophobia from happening. So, what is Islamophobia? In her article, What is Islamophobia? The History and Definition of Anti-Muslim Discrimination in the U.S., Elizabeth Whitman wrote, "The word has a broad meaning and often serves as an umbrella term to encapsulate negative sentiments from an individual's anti-Islam views to society-wide discrimination against Muslims. Islamophobia is an unnecessary feeling of discrimination and prejudice that one feels against Muslims. You can compare it to homophobia and even racism. Now, let's travel back into the year 2001, and I'll explain to you how this term originated. Yes, I'll be talking about 9/11. History.com explains the details of 9/11 through the article 9/11 Timeline Events. So, on a clear, sunny, late summer day in September 2001, Al-Qaeda terrorists aboard 3 hijacked planes carried out coordinated suicide attacks against the World Trade Center in New York City and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., killing everyone on board the plane and nearly 3,000 people on the ground. That's a lot of lives, guys. Innocent lives were taken on this very day. Many American families were struck with grief, and this brought fear upon Muslims as these Al-Qaeda terrorists claimed that they committed these acts through the order of Allah. Many Muslims who had resided in America years prior to 9/11 were now misjudged when in fact they were the ones who were at fault. And even in the past, when I moved to Texas in the South, I was judged just because of my color of my skin and my faith when I was being open and about my religious views. The students would always shout profanities and racial slurs at me. They called me a terrorist. They called me a threat to the country. They said, go back to your own country. When in fact, I was born here. This experience was the biggest challenges of my life. And at the age of 13, I became more aware of how judgmental the side of humanity is. It also granted me this mindset of spreading awareness and telling people that not all Muslims are terrorists. Now that we all understood the definition and origin, I'm now going to explain the example of Islamophobia that was being portrayed in America that happened 4.5 years ago. In the article, 3 students shot and death in an apartment near UNC Chapel Hill, Saeed Ahmed and Catherine Shoichet wrote, all 3 victims, Dia Barakat, Yusar Abu Salah, and Razan Abu Salah, were Muslim, and given their religion and comments left on a Facebook page by a bigoted individual who goes by the name of Craig Stephen Hicks, he went up to them and shot them all to the ground. This is a prime example of the effect of Islamophobia. Events like these are the reasons why Islamophobia and awareness of it is spreading. There are people out there who use social media to target Muslims, and there's hate groups. It's ridiculous. And lastly, I'll talk about hatred that could possibly be popular due to what our own president said. Jeremy Diamond of CNN wrote in his article, Donald Trump banned all Muslim travel in the US. He says, Donald Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the US until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on. Yet, he tries to label them as terrorists, and he's scared of them. But they're just trying to live a new life. They live in a third world country, and they want to start up a new life. And many people want to tour America. How are we going to call America the land of the free if we're not allowing people of all colors and religion to enter our own country? And what our own president said can and will spread a new era of hatred and dangers for Muslims. And many of Trump's supporters agree with his comments. It's ridiculous. That's bad for humanity. Finally, I'll discuss the solution to fight against Islamophobia. So, a solution is there's a group located in Washington, D.C. called the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE. So this group has a bunch of advocates and activists who fight against Islamophobia, and they believe that we could all unite and bring one another and let everyone be aware of what's going on in our own country. And I have a cousin who actually works for CARE, and she always posts on Facebook about how unfortunate it is for Syrian refugees or people who are trying to escape their own country like Afghanistan and trying to live a better life here in America. And in conclusion, to review, I've explained the definition, origin, effect, and solution of Islamophobia. And I believe that we all could unite and fight against this unfortunate act. When I was 13, I didn't believe that oppression existed. I did not believe that racism was actually still in America, because as we were taught in school, we thought that racism ended right after the MLK days, but I was wrong. There's still unfortunate events that still happen out there in America, and the media still paints a bad picture about colored individuals who get shot or hurt, or they always post on their headlines about how people, they say like Muslim man instead of, and then for like a white person in general, they say like man was struck with a mental illness and whatnot. And then even the Boston bombings painted a bad picture for Muslims. It's ridiculous. All in all, my name is Aarif Azam, and I'm an American-born Muslim. Any questions?
All right. Good job.
What's up?
How can I deal with like a certain person